Time to kick off the college football season by letting the dogs out. The Huskies from Washington and the Fresno State Bulldogs take the field in the Northwest to battle it out and see whose bite is bigger than their bark. Pat Hill has his Bulldogs ready to break loose and be at the top of the WAC all season long. The Huskies are trying to bounce back from a disappointing year and keep themselves straight in a Pac-10 season that will be sure to have a lot of twists and turns. All right, enough with the words. Time for some action. Fresno State versus Washington starts now.
It's a day on which the Seattle-Washington Chamber of Commerce ought to be taking a lot of pictures. Absolutely beautiful weather conditions for this football game. Yes, they tailgate in a very different way up here in the Pacific Northwest, but they are on hand to cheer on the hometown Huskies. College football, still a big show in town. We welcome you to College Football Saturday, presented by Kyocera, as the Fresno State Bulldogs make a house call on the Washington Huskies. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins. We welcome you to a new season of Pac-10 Conference football. We've got contenders, we've got pretenders, we've got wannabes. We got the preseason #1 team in the country, USC. We got a team that's ranked 14 in California that I think is better than that. The Oregons are good, the Arizonas are good. Should be a terrific year in Pac-10 Conference play. And there's a new thing here for me, too, on Fox Sports Net. I got a new partner, and you know him. You remember him playing for the University of Southern California, wearing number 35. He ran hard, he played hard, he scored a lot of touchdowns for USC, and every now and then he did a little dance, sort of like this, and it was a dance like this that kept him out of real show business and put him in the booth next to me. Petros Papadakis, welcome, pal.
Barry, I'm not out of the movies yet. I still got a shot at Hollywood, but you know what? I couldn't be happier to be here with you. Pac-10 football all year. We're going to be everywhere. It's a dream come true for me, and I'm your 100th analyst that you've ever worked with. The century mark, you finally reached it.
The latest is the bestest. We got a great game for you right here, too. Washington Huskies kind of licking their wounds, even though they haven't played a game. It's about who they lost and who they can find to replace who they lost.
Well, they lost Reggie Williams, and he was a special receiver, one of the most special I've ever seen in the Pac-10, but they still have Charles Frederick. This is a very exciting guy. You will see them try to get him the ball at least 20 times this game. They'll flip it to him, they'll pass it to him, they'll stretch the field with him, they'll run reverses. Frederick is the man on this football team, and if they have anything, they have Frederick. He's exciting.
You know, we used to talk about the Washington Huskies, talk about them as a team that personified smash mouth football. Well, now you got to turn that over. That's the way we're talking about Fresno State. They got a running back by the name of Dwayne Wright. They can pound you, and with a guy named Wright, you can't go wrong.
Certainly not. This guy is a special back. They're very high on him. Every single Fresno coach gushes when you talk about Dwayne Wright. That's because he has every tool that you need to have as a back. He can run the zone. He can run outside. He can run inside. He has breakaway speed. He's physical, and he's got beautiful vision. Dwayne Wright ran for 1,000 yards last year. They're looking for another 1,000 this year.
And here come the Huskies. Huskies come out barking, and Petros, you have experienced this. What a tough place on a visiting team.
I played back here in 1997, and we didn't cross the 50. You know, they say it's one of the most scenic places to watch a football game, but you know what? Not if you're the visiting team. The angles in the stands are so steep that the crowd looks like they're going to fall on you. It's one of the few places in the country also, Barry, that they bark at you, and that's a little disconcerting for a college kid.
And here come the Bulldogs onto the playing field, and as you can see, the silence is deafening. And that's what happens in Washington. They'll beat you up once they get you going. It's going to be incumbent on the visitors from Fresno, although they did bring quite a few fans of their own. They travel in bunches, do the Fresno fans. The Red Wave, they call them, and they are here in Seattle hoping that their Bulldogs can do what they've done so many times before, and that is jump up and bite a bigger dog. Washington won the toss, and they will receive. Now, that's really kind of a surprise. Washington usually, in fact, most teams usually will defer, but they want the football, and I think the reason that they do want the football, Petros, is that they want to get it in the hands of Charles Frederick right now.
They want to get their offense on the field. They want to get that young quarterback, Casey Paz, going. They want to get Fredericks going. They want to get some explosiveness in this stadium to get this crowd excited. Washington, not that strong on defense last year. A lot of the same guys back in this year. They got to protect that defense with an explosive offense.
Crowd on its feet. And the 2004 college football season kicks off. Twisting kick headed for Shackelford. He doesn't touch it, and it goes in and out of the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and the Huskies will start at the 20-yard line. Take a look at the lineups. First of all, for the Washington Huskies, and they will use a two-headed quarterback system, but they will start with Casey Paz. You might remember his brother Corey was the starting quarterback at UCLA, comes from New Lenox, Illinois, and a very confident guy with a very strong arm. The backs and receivers, Kenny James, and they're looking for a 1,000-yard season out of him. He's got breakaway speed. Zach Tuiasosopo, predominantly a blocker, but will get his carries every now and then. And then Frederick and Williams, the wideouts. The offensive line, Barnes, Walker, Vanneman, Daniels, and Brooks. And it is something of a question mark, and it usually isn't up here in Seattle. That is usually one of the Huskies' strengths. They go out of the I formation in a slot right. And they give it to the fullback, Tuiasosopo, on first down, and he gets just about a yard, no more than that. Bulldogs shut it down right now. They will run a lot of option, and that's what the Fresno defense is going to have to deal with. They will start with Morris, Booker, Leonard, and McIntyre up front. Very active, and they'll rotate about 7 people on that down 4. Marcus Riley getting the start today ahead with Dwayne Andrews and Todd Garcia, and a very good secondary. The strength of this team is at the corners, Marshall and Washington, and they have 5 corners, all of whom can cover. 3 wideouts now for the Huskies on second down. Quick toss this time to Frederick, and he has no place to go. I think he had his knee down when he caught the ball. Going to lose about a yard. Frederick is a guy that had literally the second biggest day in the history of Pac-10 conference football, and the biggest day in the history of the University of Washington last year. He had 327 yards, all-purpose, one game, 59 catches, and you talked about it earlier, Petros, a 14-yard per catch average.
216 yards just receiving in that game, 3 touchdowns all the way around. He went wild, and you know, he broke a purpose yard record here at Washington that was held by Hugh McElhaney.
Goes back a few years.
I guess so.
Hall of Famer Hugh McElhaney. Slot left this time. They go out of the gun. Paz going to put it up. Drops straight back. Has time. Steps up. Throws deep. Has shot before incomplete. Flag down. Going to get interference against Nate Ray.
Personal foul on the defense, number 99. That penalty will be enforced 15 yards in the previous spot. Also on the play, pass interference on the defense, number 3. That penalty is declined. First down and 10.
Well, a big break for the Huskies, and a little bit too aggressive that time on the part of Danielle Booker.
That's not the way you want to start out a game, Barry, especially inside. You know, you want these guys to be aggressive. You want them to fight. You want them to be angry. You want them to throw blows, but only between the whistles. When he gets after the whistle and you start throwing punches at people, that's when the flags start flying, and it's not a good thing for anybody, especially when you're on the road.
Keeps early momentum now for the Washington Huskies. They send Daniels to the far side of the field, Russo in the slot inside of Frederick to the near side. Out of the I formation. Paz the quarterback. Give to James for the first time. Spins off one man, 35, and down at the 38-yard line. Garcia on the tackle. Garcia missed the tackle, and then he was ultimately stopped at the 38. Called the 37.
They blitzed Garcia off the backside, and he was in perfect position to make this play. James just made him miss. Sometimes when you blitz in that situation and there's nobody that blocks you, Garcia found himself all alone with the running back in the backfield, especially in the first drive of the first game. Guys have a tendency to freak out. James got by him.
Gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Start Frederick in motion this time. Pause, play fake, will throw. Out of the backfield this time. The ball is caught by Tuiasosopo, and he'll have a first down, and another flag comes in, and I'm sure that's going to be a late hit against Fresno.
Things are getting a little chippy out there early. Zach Tuiasosopo, we said he'd get his touches. That's interesting. I thought there might have been 2 fouls on that one. Sanders is one of the most physical tacklers that Fresno State has. They said he might be the best secondary player in the history of the university when it's all said and done. The guy's just a junior. I thought he was a little over-aggressive on that play with the face mask and the hit out of it.
Could just be all the adrenaline that's going on for the Bulldogs right now.
It's crazy in the first game. You know, you have to remember to play football all over again.
Out of the gun again. They give on an inside handoff this time to Sims, and he doesn't get much, about a yard. James Sims, junior out of Las Vegas. Backup fullback to Tuiasosopo.
You see a pick play like that, and you wonder, what were the referees looking at? Maybe those guys got their shoulder pads or their face mask hooked up and they couldn't get unhooked, but that was very blatant by John Lyon, and they couldn't have taught him to do that, and sometimes you just get hooked up to a guy and you can't get rid of him.
Slot left this time. 9th play of the drive upcoming here for the Dogs. That is the Huskies. We got dogs and dogs here. Short drop pause. Throws out here. Caught by Frederick. Knocked out of bounds. Gain of about 4. Richard Marshall knocked him out. But they are getting the ball in the hands of Frederick.
And that is what a guy like Charles Frederick does for your team. Sometimes it's a substitution for the run game. If you can get him out there on little flip plays and hit him in the flat or hit him on little slants and get yourself 5 yards, that's almost as good as a run play. The only thing it doesn't do, Barry, is beat up and take football out of that defensive line. And that's one thing you want to do in a football game, especially when you have the home field advantage. But Frederick, he's good for 5 yards when you give him a little flip like that.
3rd down and 6. They're in a dime package, are the Bulldogs. 6 defensive backs. They will blitz a lot out of this. They have not yet to blitz today. They show blitz, and here they come. And Paz unloads it. It's almost picked. Knocked down that time by Marcus Riley, and a good job coming up from the left linebacker spot by Riley.
And Marcus Riley is a guy that they move from the safety position, and they like to put him in the middle when they run that dime position. He brought some heat, and he knows how to get those hands up. He's a defensive back. Tyrone Culver came with the blitz and put some pressure on Paz. He got rid of the ball early. It looked like a good play, but getting those hands up helps.
So the Husky drive will stall, and Adam Jennings will stand at the 10-yard line to receive this punt. And Bulldogs oftentimes, they'll come after kickers. This one is angled toward the corner, but misses badly. Goes well into the end zone. 35-yard punt, no return. Welcome back. Bulldogs have the ball for the first time. They run a little delay and get the ball across the 15-yard line to the 16. They just hurried to the line of scrimmage. And Wright carried for a gain of 6.
They really did sprint up to the line of scrimmage on that one, and they caught the Washington defense off guard. They weren't able to get their strength in there, and they got him for a quick 6 yards.
So it'll be 2nd down and 4. Paul Pinegar, the quarterback, out of the I formation with Wright, the tailback. Bring a tight end in motion. Give it to Wright, left side, a little gap, and it shuts down. And Wright is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look, first of all, for the Fresno State Bulldogs offensively. And we mentioned Paul Pinegar will be the quarterback. He is a junior, and he is 15-5 as a starter. Comes from Woodland, California. Dwayne Wright, we spoke about him. Nate Adams gets the start at fullback. Adam Jennings is their big play guy. This is a very deep and very talented team. Very good along the offensive line. Mankins and Shack, 2 of the best in the WAC. Rivera now in at the running back spot. They go out of the gun on 3rd down and 5. Pinegar, the quarterback. Huskies show blitz. They back out of it. Pinegar with time. He throws, has a man. Ball is caught this time by Fernandez, and it's going to be close. Joe Fernandez. That's a familiar name to you. It should be. His dad was a pretty good football player. Remember Mervyn Fernandez?
Swervin' Mervyn Fernandez of LA Raiders fan.
Good enough for the 1st down. Oh, 4th down. I beg your pardon. They come up short. So 3 and out for the Bulldogs on their first possession. Fernandez just couldn't get the shoulders squared away long enough to make that 1st down. Frederick will be the deep man. Here's where he could be very, very dangerous. Michael Ingua, the punter. And now they rush Frederick up the line of scrimmage because they didn't have a man on the outside. They only had 10 men on the field. Now they make an adjustment, a short, wobbly kick. Frederick, fair catch at the 42-yard line.
That's the longest I've ever seen a kick returner run on a fair catch.
So 38-yard punt. The good news for the Bulldogs, no return. They're coming back. Well, both teams sputter a little bit on their first offensive tries of the day. Washington Huskies here in this opening game really trying to find out something about themselves. This is a team that lost a whole lot of yards last year in losing Cody Pickett. And as you mentioned earlier, losing Reggie Williams.
That's just about 14,000 yards of offense between Pickett and Williams career-wise. How do you replace that? Not really sure, but it's exciting to see who they got and who's going to step up and be the man on this Washington offense.
So the Huskies will start at the 43-yard line. Paz still the quarterback. 3-step drop. Swings it out here for Russo and missed badly. Well, here's the pieces of the puzzle for the Washington Huskies. They lost Cody Pickett, as you said, a 7th-round draft choice of the San Francisco 49ers, who not incidentally is impressing the 49er folk down in the Bay Area. 10,000-plus career passing yards. And we already spoke of Reggie Williams. He was the big play guy, and I say that with due respect to Charles Frederick. They lost another 3,600 yards there. So here's a guy who's trying to pick up a whole lot of slack. Here's the option. With Paws running, he's got room. 45, tried to step outside, and a fingertip tackle that time by Richard Marshall saved a big play.
And I'm not sure if Stanbeck was in the game that he would have made that play. I mean, Paws got just tackled by the shoe tip, and that's too bad because it looked like he might have had a first down on this one. He makes a correct read, takes the ball right up the field. The pitch man was covered by two guys. And Paws just can't break free. It would have been a first down for Washington. A lot of confidence for a guy who doesn't run the option a lot.
3rd down and 6. He's a big guy, not exactly your prototypical option quarterback. Out of the gun this time. Here comes a blitz. There's a shovel pass. And going to be a first down for Russo at the 45-yard line of Fresno. Right call at the right time.
And this is some of the creativity that you're going to see in a Keith Gilbertson offense. He just showed you the option going right. Now he comes back left, gives you an option look, and flips the ball very quickly to the slot guy, Russo. Russo does the right thing, takes the ball up the field, makes a cut, breaks the tackle, spins around a little bit, and gets a first down. Very creative play by Keith Gilbertson.
First down at the 33-yard line. I formation once more. Here's the pitch back to James. James at the 30, head down to the 28-yard line. Got about 5. Richard Marshall on the stop again. They're running that option pretty well, though.
They told us we were going to see option, and not just with Stanbeck in the game. Isaiah Stanbeck yet to be in the game, but Casey Paws is running it very, very well. He gets a nice pitch going out there. We saw a shovel pass. We've seen him keep the ball. We've seen him pitch the ball. Let's check out Khalif Barnes. He's the All-American candidate right tackle for them. He's their weak tackle, but they're running on the strong side. He's very physical, gets out there, puts his hands on the linebacker, and poor Garcia's just not going to get away from him in that situation.
Marshall comes up with a saving tackle, gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Give it to James this time, right side, little gap, dance step, gets inside the 25, down about the 22. He'll have another Husky first down. Gain of 6, and he earned it.
And the former walk-on Todd Garcia again on that tackle, and he did earn it. This is why they like Kenny James. He runs physically, he runs inside, but you can also give him the ball outside like you saw on the pitch. He's an all-around back. Now, the days of giving him back the ball 30 times a game, they might be over. But if there is a back in the Pac-10 that can do that, Kenny James might be the guy.
They go out of the shotgun again. And here's a shovel pass again, this time to Sims, and that doesn't get much. Gain of about 2.
Well, fool Fresno State once on defense. Shame on you, but fool them twice, shame on them. They're not going to fall for that shovel pass again. I think that's the only time that Gilby's going to be able to run that one at them. But he tried it again to the other side, and it was a valiant effort, but just didn't make the play.
2nd down and 8, the ball at the 20-yard line, and Washington has held the ball most of this first quarter. Fresno State has only had 3 offensive snaps out of the I formation once more. Shackelford in the slot. Short drop, Paws throws, and incomplete, intended for Frederick, and Marshall had a beat on that. If that ball had been thrown well, Marshall might have been gone.
And Paws has been throwing the ball a little bit flighty out there in the flat. He's a little bit out of control with those flat balls, and he's only had one big ball over the middle. He's going to have to settle down a little bit, but that's what you expect. This guy is starting his very first game, and you know what? He's a junior, so he's been watching this all go down for years here at Washington without getting out there on the field and actually doing it for himself. He's 6 of 10 right now with 33 yards, and he's going to have to improve that. They're going to want him around 60%.
Slot left this time, 3rd down and 8. Again, they run what looks like the option. Now they throw behind it. Paws throws too tall that time, intended for Anthony Russo. And it'll be 4th down. It should bring about a field goal try. Now, Fresno State, we talked about how effective they are in blocking kicks. They blocked 9 kicks last year. And don't you know they're going to be coming after a young kicker like Knutson.
They're like a baby Virginia Tech out here on the West Coast. Fresno State takes pride in blocking kicks, and that's really the mark of a physical team. Defense and special teams, and Pat Hill truly has it going. You saw another high pass from Casey Paws there.
37-yard attempt for Evan Knutson. He'll hit it out of the hold of Casey Paws. Snap place on its way, and no good. Might have hooked it to the left. No good. Richard Marshall was coming hard, and they almost got it. What they do is they make you do things quicker than you want to do it, and they really play havoc with your timing. Fresno State will have it after the missed field goal attempt. We're scoreless. 5 minutes, 58 seconds remaining to be played here in quarter number 1. Don't go away. We're coming back. Welcome back to Husky Stadium. It's a scoreless game. 5:59 remaining in the first quarter, and Fresno State will have the football for only the second time in this game. They were 3 and out in their first possession. Sumlin in at tailback for the first time. Play fake. Pinegar will throw in trouble. Down he goes. Manas Hapoy, first man to him for the Huskies with help from Brandon Alla. Let's take a look at the Washington Huskies defense, and they made it count right there. Along the defensive line, Mapuala Sega with Hapoy and Alla, who combined for that sack on Pinegar. Lobendon back after an injury season last year. Scott Wright with Evan Benjamin moved from safety because of his speed. Derek Johnson, very good corner. Both these teams solid at the cornerback. Johnson and Cunningham for Washington. Play fake, Pinegar to throw again. Now he has to step up and does throw a little bit late, but it's caught by Jamison. Be short of the first down by about 6 yards.
Pinegar showed a lot of what he had and lost, and he didn't really show last year. He had a torn pectoral muscle last year. Didn't throw the ball very well. Couldn't really get the zip on the ball. Now, after getting sacked on first down, he comes back and throws a strike to Jamison. That'll be good for his confidence.
Yeah, what Pat Hill told us is that he's a very good quarterback at the line of scrimmage, and a lot of their offense starts at the line of scrimmage. So third down and long now for Fresno State. Out of the gun once more. Pinegar straight back. Blitz comes. Pinegar in trouble. Down he goes. Back to the 31-yard line. That time Joe Lobendon just blew in untouched.
And what Lobendon did on this play was green dog him. That's what we like to call it back in the day. He waits, comes right behind, and finally makes that play. He's a hard guy to get under, even if they did try to block him. He's only about 5'10", and he weighs about 240. He's a junior, didn't play a lot last year, and you get a defensive back, Benjamin, coming around and finishing him off. That was not a pleasant play for Pinegar.
So Lingua will come on to do the punting, and Charles Frederick stands at the 25-yard line. This time a high twisting kick, good kick, will drive Frederick all the way back to 13-yard line. Fair catch, excellent punt that time by Lingua. So it'll put the Huskies deep in their own territory to start things.
Washington's offense just got a lot more exciting, Barry.
Stand back and scoop. They go from the gun on first down. Here's stand back, rolling right. He's going to keep it, and he's not going to get much, about a yard. Fresno State's defense really strings the field out very well in those plays.
They run very well, and one of the best runners on that defense is the man that made that tackle, James Sanders, 5'11", 205. He's a junior out of Porterville. Best safety in the history of the program, they're saying. A physical tackler. This guy's all whack, loves to bring it. I mean, he just loves to play football, loves to tackle. Reminds me of a guy I played with by the name of Troy Polamalu. People that just love to be physical and tackle and be nasty up in there.
Out of the I formation this time. 2nd and 9. Pitch to James. James got a little gap, cut back nicely. Gets it up across the 20 to the 22, and it'll be close to a Washington first down. Garrett McIntyre made the tackle along with Tyrone Pulver, but a nice cutback by James.
And this is the excitement I was talking about when you bring Isaiah Stanback in the game. He gets that pitch out there immediately. See him put a little move on the end before he makes that pitch. Alan Goodwin finally gets up to make the stop, but not before Kenny James. Shows a little bit of skill in that option. And I was shocked they were going to run that option, but it seems to be working right now.
And they give you a lot of looks off of it, too. It's not just your basic triple option. Here's Stanback again, and he's going to get enough, I believe. This will depend on the spot. And I think he's going to get a left-footed spot, which I think is going to give him the first down. I think Keith Gilbertson knows the guy who says, I'm going to bend my offense to the players I have. That's what he told us yesterday, and that's what he's doing. We've played a quarter, and it's a scoreless ball game. Fresno State nothing, Washington nothing. Second quarter coming up on the other side of this commercial break. Don't go away, we're coming back. We welcome you back. We prepare to start the second quarter. Barry Tompkins, Petros Papadakis. And take a look at our Home Depot longest current NCAA streaks of 500 or better. And look who's number 3, the Washington Huskies. 6-6 last year, but 27 consecutive years of 500 or better. Bulldogs might have jumped. This may be a free play. Stanback reaching ahead. Got about 3 yards and no flag. So apparently they did not think that Fresno jumped. Garrett McIntyre makes the tackle. Now we talk about Zach Tuiasosopo as being from some pretty good lineage. His dad, Manu, played at UCLA, played for many years in the NFL. Marcus, as you said, backup quarterback of the Oakland Raiders. Brother Matt was going to come and be a quarterback here in Seattle, and a highly touted quarterback, but he signed instead to play baseball for the Seattle Mariners. He's playing down the road in Everett, Washington, and his sister Leslie played for the volleyball team and is now one of the coaches. He's also got a couple of cousins on this football team. Redshirt freshman. Giving the fullback, Tuiasosopo, it's a race. He's the 30, he's the 20, he's the 10, and dragged down at about the 8-yard line by Richard Marshall.
Looked for a second like Zach was going to take that one to the house. There's a reason that this guy is ranked by the Sporting News as the #1 fullback in all of college football. Watch this hole just open up for him. Great block by Barnes, and he's the leader out there, and he races through that hole. Very explosive speed right at the line of scrimmage for Zach, and then Richard Marshall finally catches up to him, but it takes him a little bit of a while to get there. Brad Vanham in the center also really coming off the ball. They caught him off guard with the fullback. Kind of a triple option look coming from the Huskies there.
A gain of 50 for Tuiasosopo, who has been much more a part of the offense as usual. And he'll stand back into the end zone for the touchdown. Well, that was effective.
We said the tempo and excitement was going to raise with Isaiah Stanback on the field, and it certainly has. Leads them on a drive, and this crowd's finally woken up here in the second quarter.
Well, neither team was able to do much business offensively, and then bang, bang, 2 plays, 58 yards and a score.
Token fake, and he makes that cut that Casey Paz cannot make. Straight up to the end zone and makes the play.
So Knutson to try the point. He's missed 2 field goals, but this one he drives through. And it was Michael Bronstein who did that kicking, and not Knutson. So Keith Gilbertson going with a different kicker. This one gets it done. It's a 7-0 ball game just underway in the second quarter, and we're coming back. Well, a whole lot of attaboys for that guy right there, Zach Tuiasosopo. He took it 50 yards to set up the touchdown run. 9 plays, 87 yards. 3 minutes, 23 seconds, culminated by Isaiah Stanback's 8-yard run off the option. And those 2 plays, a thing of beauty.
Not often you see a fullback taking it 50 yards down the field and getting his stride on. And sometimes when you get in that situation, you're running down the field, you don't know if it's a penalty or something's gone wrong, or they blew the whistle right at the line of scrimmage and you're the only guy running. Zach Tuiasosopo, 240-pounder. I definitely am telling you, he did not expect to see himself in that position, but there he was, striding down the field. They finally caught up with him, but that electrified that offensive line just enough to run the option. Isaiah Stanback takes it in for Washington's first score and the first score of the game.
Yeah, they really run that option to perfection. The touchdown run by Stanback really also was a thing of beauty. Went for the dive. Everybody went for the dive, and he just simply walked it into the end zone from 8 yards out. So Douglas will kick it off, kicking to Jennings and Marshall, and this is going to be Jennings at about the 6-yard line. To the 20, still on his feet, 25, and stopped at the 26-yard line. Here's a give on first down this time to Stanback, or rather to Sumlin, and Sumlin will get it ahead to about the 33-yard line. A gain of about 6 on first down. That's the best first down play. Gain of 8. And best first down play that Fresno State has had. And it was Wright who was back in the ball game at the tailback position.
And we finally see Wright back in the game. They took him out for a series and put Sumlin in after that fumble. And that's what you got to do. You always have to take a back out after he fumbles a football. Give him a couple plays to relax, but you don't want to keep him on that sideline too long. He's got to get the ball in his hands once again for his confidence.
2 tight ends, only 1 wide out. That's Fernandez. Again out of the I formation on 2nd and 4. And again, it's Wright. Wright tries to cut it back, doesn't get much. Across the 45. Maybe he got a yard. I doubt it. Evan Benjamin makes the stop. So it'll be 3rd down and 4.
And here you see the big-time tackle for Fresno, Logan Mainkins. He is a very, very physical player, and he has not been around here. He missed the whole year. You see him get stem out on the linebacker Galloway, and look at him just handle him. Ooh! That's
an ugly block. Linebackers don't like seeing that on the weak side very much.
3rd down and 4. Big play here for the Bulldogs. They've not generated a first down on their own yet in this game. Pinegar going to throw. He's in trouble. Now he'll run. And he'll get the first down. Midfield 45 to the 40. 35-30. And finally dragged down inside the 25-yard line. So a busted play turns out to be the biggest play of the day for the Bulldogs.
And sometimes that's what a quarterback needs. Sometimes a quarterback needs a busted play like that. Something just to get the team going. He's got to improvise out there. He knows the team hasn't gotten a first down other than penalties. Pinegar's looking. Finally, he just makes the decision, eludes that tackler. He gets the ball in the right arm. A lot of people don't like seeing the ball switch when you're downfield, but hey, what are you going to do? This guy's trying to make a play. Little high step in there, switches the ball, and Jimmy Newell finally catches up with him. Let's see if this gives Pinegar some juice in this drive.
Gain of 29. Pinegar, no small guy at 6'4", 220. He brought it pretty well. Play fake, Pinegar in trouble, steps away, and now he'll run again. He's the 25, gets down to about the 21-yard line, and got 4 yards where there was absolutely nothing. He was dead in the arms of Evan Benjamin.
Now, Brandon Alla had a shot at him. You see him here on the left of your screen. But Pinegar looking like Fran Tarkenton with the moves. The play fake is not bought by Alla at all. Making a spin, gets that ball way up in the air like he's going to run the Statue of Liberty play. Tries to make a move. He's getting some confidence running the football for a 220-pound quarterback. This is pretty impressive.
2nd down and 5. 4 rushes for 16 yards for Pinegar now, allowing for the sacks, of course. Out of the I formation once more. And he may be checking off here. The give this time is to Wright. He gets nothing. Knocked backward by the Husky defense. Joe Lobendon is having a nice game. First one to meet him.
And Lobendon is excited to be on that football field again. Let's take a look at him. Here he is right in the middle. The Mike Backer, number 53. You'll see him just stuff this play. He's got a gap to play. The gap is right there. He takes on Adams. The fullback sheds him and makes a punishing hit on Wright. Lobendon, a very impressive defender, and they are sure happy to have him back. They lost him last year. He's back this year, and he's back with a vengeance.
Out of Honolulu, Hawaii, and there have been so many outstanding athletes come out of Honolulu and matriculate to University of Washington here in Seattle. Big play here, 3rd down and 6. Jamison comes in motion, out of the gun, Pinegar to throw with time. Now he steps up, he's going to run again, and I don't think he's going to get there. Inside the 20 to the 18 where he is met head on. He fell forward, but he's not going to get credit for that. Lobendon again, the guy who stuffed him. He got 5 yards, but they're going to be about 1.5 yards short, and I think this will bring on the field goal team.
Listen to this. Scotty White gets right up under that quarterback and takes him out. Now, Pat Hill wants his quarterback to be physical. He wants his quarterback to attack. I don't think he wants Paul Pinegar lowering his shoulder at a linebacker. But this was a good drive for Fresno State, and they might get a field goal out of it.
Listen, Tanner, very effective field goal kicker. We'll try a 34-yarder. It is on its way, and it is no good. Missed left, so we've had 3 missed field goal tries. 2 by the Huskies, 1 by the Bulldogs. Washington leads it by 7, and we're coming back. 7-0 ball game here with the Washington Huskies leading and really outplaying the Fresno State Bulldogs throughout this first half. You can see the offensive yardage, 111 for Washington, but really comparable because that 50-yard play to Tuiasosopo is the difference in the game. Stanback is stopped after the fake handoff at the 20-yard line. Dwayne Andrews not fooled.
Isaiah Stanback showing a lot of maturity on this play, and you don't expect that a lot from a very exciting quarterback. These guys want to make plays. He makes the fake. He's running an option. He makes a cut, and he's got that ball out there like it's a loaf of bread, and he finally just tucks it away. He thought about pitching it out there. That would have been an ill-advised pitch. Those make for exciting plays when they work, but usually that ball ends up on the ground.
No gain on the play, 2nd down and 10. Stanback now 6 carries for 17 yards and a touchdown. Stanback under center this time. James the lone setback. Slot left. Blitz comes. Stanback hit as he throws. And it was Claude Sanders who got to him and cracked him pretty good. Let's go back back to that trivia question we asked you just a couple of minutes ago. 9 quarterbacks on National Football League rosters, either from Fresno or from Washington. How many can you name? Well, we mentioned some of them. Trent Dilfer, of course, now back up here in Seattle. In fact, he's somewhere here in the stadium today. David Carr, Billy Volek, the backup to McNair.
The Heward brothers.
Right, one's in Kansas City, one is here in Seattle. Marcus Tuiasosopo, of course, down in Oakland. I'm sure watching this game today, Cody Pickett with the 49ers, and impressive folks.
Did he make that team?
Yes, he did.
I knew he would.
Intercepted, and this is going to be a touchdown. Picked off by James Sanders, and Fresno State is on the board just like that.
This is a young quarterback. James Sanders was pressured by Booker. The nose tackle got up in there. He was on top of him. James Sanders just took that ball right out of the sky. Stanback threw it right to him. That might have been the easiest catch of the day for anybody on the football field. The pressure came. Put it out there for Lions tight end.
And it was the pressure, I think, that forced that ball to be underthrown and right into the hands of Sanders. And just that quickly, it's a tie game, or potentially a tie game. I'm sure that's exactly what Oregon State was saying yesterday against LSU. So the try for point now. Bicentennial will try it. It's good, and we're tied. So 2:53 left in the first half. 7-7. 2:53 left first half. 7 Fresno State, 7 Washington. How quickly a game can change.
And Fresno State is lucky to be tied in this one. That was just a bad pass by Isaiah Stanback. And you know what? That's too bad, because he was playing so well. He was really working that offense well. But just a terrible pass by Stanback, putting his team in a bad position right before the half here.
So Frederick will get a chance for another touch here. He handles it at the 7-yard line. The 15, the 20, burst of speed, still on his feet. Finally driven out of bounds to the 28-yard line by Kyle Goodman. Clock short drop this time by Paz. Throws, caught by Daniels, not out of bounds. At the 35-yard line. Gain of 7, and they don't have to burn a timeout.
Now, we've seen both Washington kickers struggle in this game. Sean Douglas, the punter, he's a new punter, not having that great of a day. He had that 8-yard punt. That's going to hurt his average this season. And Evan Knudsen, not really that confident right now in his home stadium. So Washington might want to just go for the end zone, take a couple cracks at it right now.
2nd down and 3. Pause, straight back, clear out this time, and it's dropped by Russo. He also had the tight end Crutchley wide open over the middle. He had his choice.
And Russo turned a little late on that ball. I think he had a hard time finding it. He got his hands up in time. As you see him running what we call an arrow route, turns back in. Didn't look like he could see the ball in that situation.
He might have thought that the ball was intended for the tight end.
And the ball bounced off Booker's head, the nose tackle, getting his hands up. Probably a low throwing ball. These quarterbacks have to find spaces to get the ball through. Paz didn't find the space on that one.
3rd down now and 3. Pause, straight back again. Throws, threw it behind Ryan, the intended receiver. Well, we have not seen the quarterback position be a thing of beauty here so far. It's 4th down. And what do you do here? Just run another play and don't depend on your kicker. 52-yard kick from here. And that's
Maybe
what they're
just
going to do.
down it or run the football. Kind of in no man's land right now.
4th and 3. Clock ticks down. 20, well, now it's stopped with 23 seconds left. Stopped on the incomplete pass. Frederick goes to the far side. Paz rolls to his right. Gonna throw. Steps out. Throws. Intercepted. And once more it is Dials. And Dials is going to get this back to the 39-yard line. There are 13 seconds left. And now Fresno State will have a chance here.
That's a very awkward call and something strange. You know, that's the one thing you don't want to do is throw it out in the flat and get a 37-yard return from Juan Dials. 5'8", 182 pounds, not a big corner, but he knows when that ball is badly thrown. He gets right in front and takes it down the sideline.
pause. It makes the tackle. We've seen quarterbacks make 4 tackles in this game. What's wrong with this picture?
A lot of interceptions, a lot of turnovers in the game.
Exactly. So now Pinegar, he'll need at least 10 yards here to give his kicker a chance. They have no timeouts. They can't stop the clock. So he's got to throw at least 10 yards. Straight back he goes. Throws a screen. I'm not sure about that play. And that's the way the half's going to end, because they cannot stop the clock. And that's probably one that I think Pat Hill might like to have back. But the half is going to end on kind of a sloppy note, with the Fresno State Bulldogs scoring on an interception return. Washington Huskies scoring after a 50-yard run. It is 7-7 at the half. Right now, let's take you back to our Kyocera College Football Saturday studio and Mike Goldberg. Mike? Welcome back. We prepare to start the second half. Barry Tompkins, my partner, Petros Papadakis. And Petros, really, in my opinion, this first half was a half of 2 plays.
It sure was. And you know what? Keith Gilbertson told us yesterday, and it's no secret to people that know football, that the key to football games are big plays.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers brought to you by Gillette. 7-7. As you see, Fresno State only had 4 first downs. 2 of them came on broken plays. 1 came on a penalty. So you know they got to improve that. They could only throw for 34 yards. Credit Washington's defense with that. Each team with 2 turnovers. The possession goes back to Washington. I have to think that this is all going to come down to who makes the right adjustments.
And we'll see what happens. Fresno State's going to get the ball here. We'll see if Pat Hill's anger can be embodied in their very first offensive possession. I'm sure Pat Hill wasn't very kind to them at halftime.
Very good kickoff, and there'll be no return of this. Fresno starts in the I formation. In motion this time comes Fernandez. And the give is to Wright. And Wright cuts it back. Gets a little something out of nothing. He picked up about 4. Joe Lobendon again. And is that a name we've been calling a lot?
MVP of the game thus far. Lobendon is really playing like a man possessed. He's happy to be back on that football field. We see Fresno State with a good 5-yard run, 4-yard run on the first play of the second half. This is what they need to do. They need to be methodical. They started a drive like this before. They have to stick with it. Lobendon with 9 tackles today, 4 tackles for loss. That's a season for some people.
Now, that is impressive. Here's Wright again, this time right up the middle, just about the 29, to be about a yard short of the first down. And Joe Lobendon makes the tackle. I feel like I'm being redundant.
Maybe they're just not blocking him and blocking everybody else. Lobendon is taking on guards, taking on fullbacks, and shedding them. Adams is having a hard time, the fullback for Fresno State, blocking this guy and staying on top of him. When you block a guy like Lobendon, especially when he's a lot lower than you, you have to try to get as low as you can. You got to bring your feet behind you.
Give it to the fullback this time, and that is Adams, and I don't know. He's going to be close. I think he probably has the first down across the 30-yard line. So Fresno State with a first down on 3 running plays. And we should point out, Fresno State comes out in the second half, 2 tight ends, 1 wide out.
And you know what? I think Pat Hill got in that locker room, and I think there was weeping and moaning and gnashing of teeth. I think he was very upset with his team. Not really because of the score, because it's a tie game. Of course they have a chance to win. He wants them to be physical. And right now they were being physically dominated on that offensive line. Guys like Lobendon making big plays. They need to run the ball here.
They stay with the same offensive set. Only this time they bring the fullback up on the wing. And quick toss, 1 hopper. Actually, what happened there is the pressure was so good coming up the middle by the Huskies that they knocked the center, Kyle Young, right back into Pinegar.
That's the one thing a center can't do in that situation, Barry, is get knocked back, especially when you have a no-step drop, just a quick pass out to the flat. And Pinegar drops back and gets knocked by his own center. That's the one thing you don't want to happen. But again, Washington's front 7 is doing a great job and really pounding that Fresno State offensive line. Fresno State's supposed to have the best offensive line, one of the best on the West Coast, even though they're not a Pac-10 team.
Lobendon might have tweaked his right hand a little bit, but I can almost assure you he will be back. See him pacing on the sideline. 2nd and 10. This time Fairman comes in motion. Straight back Pinegar. He's got time. He throws underneath. The ball's caught by Fairman, and a first down and more to the 45-yard line. It was Devin McDonald, who made the catch. Devin McDonald listed as the 4th tight end. Makes the catch and gets the first down.
This is really the first play you see Pinegar settle down, get in his set, have a nice motion, throw the ball, and it's Cotton McDonald's a big physical tight end. He's able to get that first down. That's really the best I've seen Pinegar look in this game. It's shocking.
Out of the I formation again. And it is McDonald who is up on the wing to the right side. Pinegar, play fake and a throw. Looking deep this time for McDonald. Double coverage and almost intercepted. Threw that one right into coverage, and Deshaun Goldson had a better chance at it than McDonald.
Now this is Fresno State's system. They want to pound the ball, and then they want to stretch the field. They want to stretch the field with play action. You see the play action fake. McDonald sort of opens for a second, but then he gets into double coverage, and that ball was up for grabs. Not a great throw by Pinegar. Ball was overthrown in the first place. Second of all, the guy was double covered. Fresno State still rhythmless offensively.
Second down and 10. Ball at the 45-yard line. 3 tight ends in the game now. Jennings, the lone wide receiver, to the near side. In motion comes Jennings. Pinegar give to Wright. Wright running the short side, slips one man, and gets ahead across midfield to about the 48-yard line. The Washington Huskies going to be about 3 yards short of the first down. And a 7 for Wright on that short side sweep. Scott White, Deshaun Goldson on the stop.
And Wright seems to be settling down a little bit. They're going to need a heavy dose of him. One of these running backs is going to have to go well over 100 yards if Fresno State is going to have a chance to win this game on the road.
They're marking at the 49. Call it 3rd down and 3, and it's a long 3. Really closer to 4. Here comes a blitz this time. Pinegar going to air it out. And it is caught this time by Williams, and Williams is out of bounds at the 10-yard line. He just hung it up there, and Paul Williams came back and got it. 44 yards.
And that is by far the biggest offensive play we've seen Fresno State pull out today. They bring Lobendon on the blitz, which is well picked up by the guard. Pinegar puts it up. Paul Williams separates from Cunningham and is able to make that catch. That's a tough catch to make, that readjustment in the air. Paul Williams making a fine play. Their 3rd or 4th wide receiver out there.
It's a great shot. Hit him right in the hands. He had to come back to make that catch, and that's very tough on a defender. Ball at the 11-yard line. Fresno State in business. Out of the I formation. Give it to Wright. Wright stutter steps and isn't going to get anything. I thought maybe one of the Huskies might have departed a little bit early that time, but no flag. Scott White makes the tackle.
Now here we'll really see what this Washington defense is made of. They've been solid all day. They've had a lot of pride all day. They haven't given up a lot of running yards. They haven't given up a lot of anything to Fresno State. Now Fresno State is threatening inside that red zone. We'll see what Washington's made of here.
2nd and 11. The ball at the 12-yard line. They go in the offset eye this time. McDonald comes in motion. Pinegar going to throw. Looks to the end zone. Slant. Caught. Touchdown. Joe Fernandez on the catch, and a 12-yard score, and the Bulldogs have gone on top.
Perfectly executed slant play you see there, Barry. Joe Fernandez, son, of course, of swerving Mervin Fernandez. Only 5'10", only 165 pounds, but he's got 4.3 speed. They say he's got the best hands on the team. Run the slant right inside the safety, makes the catch, takes a punishing blow for it. That's a touchdown for Fresno State. They take the lead. Can you believe it?
Try for point now is on its way, and it is good, and Fresno State has taken a 7-point lead. And we talk about adjustments, and early in the second half, it seems to be Pat Hill who's made the proper adjustments. Washington Huskies will have it for the first time when we come back. Welcome back. Vincentainer to kick it away, and Charles Frederick making another chance here. He has been very quiet so far today, and they kick it right to him. Short kick, runs up, takes it to the 13-yard line in the 20. And that's it. Great pursuit by Fresno as they Huskies start at the 26. Pause the quarterback. Here comes a blitz off the edge, and they give us to James. He doesn't get much, about 2. Stop at about the 28-yard line. Might have gotten to the 29. Give him 3 yards on the play. Call it 2nd and 7.
And we haven't seen much of Frederick. You know, I thought that they would get him the ball on screens and reverses and flip it to him and get him going in a lot of different ways, but Fresno State's done a great job on him, but look for Washington to be a little more creative in getting Frederick the ball. He is their big playmaker. He's the guy that's going to have to score some touchdowns here in the second half if they are going to make a comeback. Washington's dominated this game. It's surprising to see him down.
Washington coming with that same offensive set that Fresno did. That is 3 tight ends and 1 wideout. Pause on the option. Keeps it. Is stopped immediately by Garcia, who stayed home nicely.
Now that's one thing that you can adjust to at halftime is how to play that option. I don't think Pat Hill's Fresno State Bulldog defense was ready for that option. At least they weren't ready for the heavy dose of option that they got. Now they kind of have it down. All you have to do is play man. You get one guy on the fullback, one guy on the quarterback, and somebody's got to have the pitch man. Now it's easier said than done, but when it all works out, the option looks kind of ugly, and that's why you don't see it in college football a whole bunch anymore unless you're playing right.
3rd down and 6. Pause to throw, throws underneath, ball's caught by Tuiasosopo. He's got a 1st down and more to the 45, taking people with him just short of midfield. Nate Ray finally drags him down. 22-yard gain.
This is the second time we've seen Zach Tuiasosopo in the passing game on 3rd down converting. He runs kind of like a Bronco play where he just comes right off the edge. He was wide open in the flat. That's easy money for the Washington Huskies.
So the Huskies with a big 1st down and a big play of 22 yards. They spotted at the 49-yard line. Huskies now out of the gun. Blitz comes. Clear out. Here's Frederick. Look out. 40, 35. Down to the 32-yard line. Brian Morris runs him down, but he's a load. Marcus Riley was coming on a blitz, but Paws got rid of it that time. Gain of 15.
Here we're looking at Frederick running a drive route, comes right underneath. Nobody messes with him. Those are hard routes to complete, especially with pressure, and you see the hips on him, just moving all around the field. Frederick's really some of the best moves in the Pac-10. Is he exciting to watch? And his hair flies in a different direction than he's going, so it almost kind of like appears that he's everywhere on the field.
Well, two ways at once. There's a pitch this time to James, who juggles it. Now he picks it up. He's got a little bit of room. Gets down about the 15-yard line before being forced out of bounds. Marcus Riley ran him out for a gain of 6 for Kenny James.
Kenny James is a good back, and I'm starting to enjoy watching him. I like him. He's inside, he's out, he's very physical. Kind of bowling ball-esque. Only 5'10", 215 pounds. He's got good size.
He's from Dos Palos, which is right down near Fresno. Second down and 4. They go into the I formation this time. They run the option out of this sometimes, too. Pitch to James, short side. James cuts back, a little room at the 10-yard line. And he'll have a 1st down for the Huskies. Dash Crutchley with a nice lead block that time. I like that name, Dash Crutchley.
It's a cool name. You see this great cutback by James. He's following his fullback, Tuiasosopo. Tui gets out there, and then you see that big, beautiful hole, and he sees it there. You can see his eye just peeking over the offensive lineman. Takes a cutback, jumps over a couple legs that are strewn across the battlefield, and gets you a 1st down.
At the 11-yard line. So now the Huskies threatening to tie this football game. Pause again, straight back, throws underneath for Tuiasosopo, makes the catch, and is upended. A nice open field tackle by Richard Marshall at about the 8-yard line. Gain of 3.
And that's the way you get Tuiasosopo down. You got to tackle his legs. No cornerback, especially a 190-pound cornerback like Marshall is going to want to take that fullback on, all 250 pounds of him up top. He makes the right decision. Tuiasosopo tried to get up over him. That's what you have to do, and a wise fullback does that. They know guys gunning for their legs, so they just try to take a little hop step. Wasn't far enough off the ground that time to get the 1st down.
Ball just inside the 8-yard line. Second down and 7. They can make a 1st down without making a touchdown. Again, they go from the I formation, bring Frederick in motion. Now he starts back the other way to the long side. They're looking for Frederick, and he can't hang on. Nice job defensively that time by Raymond Washington. Washington almost picked that ball. Frederick did a good job to get his body in front of Washington.
And Paws put a lot on the ball. You see they got Frederick in motion here. He's moving all over the field. They only got 3 tight ends. This is the only running route they have going, and he runs a quick slant, and they can't get it in. Washington was right inside the whole time. Great coverage.
Sanders was there like a seagull, just waiting for the scraps. 3rd down and 7. Single setback, slot left, Shackelford in the slot. Straight back, Paws, looks, end zone. Frederick, he missed him. Frederick had a step. Paws missed it.
And Paws was really hurried there by Garrett McIntyre, 6'3", 250 pounds. They love this guy. He's a former walk-on, came out of nowhere, really became second-team all-WAC in 2003. Here's a guy that plays tackle and end. He came around on a loop, pressured Paws, and caused that incomplete pass.
Michael Bronstein will try the field goal. Knudsen tried the first 2 and missed them. Now Bronstein will try a 25-yarder, his first ever field goal attempt. He gets it up and he gets it through. And with a lot to spare. So I think Keith Gilbertson has found himself a place kicker here. 4:25 left, 4-point game. Now Bronstein with his first ever field goal, first attempt, first make, so he is perfect. It is a 4-point game. Fresno State leading 14-10. Here's Douglas's kickoff, and he drives this pretty good, and I don't think Jennings going to have a shot at this all the way out of the end zone. Bulldogs start at the 20-yard line. Out of the I formation. It's a big drive here. Give it to Wright straight ahead. He gets nothing. Mike Mapuola-Sega makes the stop. Didn't think I could say that, did you?
It was a lot easier last year when it was just Mike Mapu, but he went for the longer name this year. And he lost a lot of weight, so, you know, he lost about 40 pounds. He's right out of American Samoa. He's a junior. Lost about 20, 30, 40 pounds. So I guess he figured he had to make up for it or something. He went for that longer name.
From Pango in American Samoa.
Tough flight to get there.
A lot of players come out of there, though. 2nd down and 9. Donald in motion. Play fake, Pinegar going to throw, got a man, it's caught this time by Fernandez. 1st down, Bulldogs at the 36-yard line. Now the 1st down line is brought to you by Overstock.com, your online outlet. It's all about the O. Here's another look.
Here's Pinegar hitting Fernandez on that comeback. Fernandez running very precise, good routes. Ran that beautiful slant for a touchdown. There he was on a comeback.
Fresno now is moving the stick, something they did not do in the first half.
And a lot of it has to do with this tiny little receiver out of Morgan Hill, California, Joe Fernandez. I'm very impressed with him so far in the second half. He's running precise routes. He's getting 1st downs. He's got field awareness. He's doing a great job.
And 4 first downs you saw in that graphic in the first half. They have 6 in this 3rd quarter. Give it to Wright again, and Wright almost broke that. He got to midfield, maybe to the 49-yard line. And it was Bryson Sumlin in the game for Wright. He got it across midfield to the 39-yard line. Sumlin's more of a banger, Wright a little bit more of a finesse runner, although he can hit you too.
Tough guy, about 10 pounds lighter than Wright.
Washington sideline. There's stand back, loosening up. There's a give to Sumlin again, and this time he's not going to get much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Joe Lobendown, who's back in the game, makes the stop. So another 3rd down play here for the Bulldogs of Fresno State.
Lobendown wasn't out long, and that's not good news for Fresno State because this is a big play for them coming up. They need to keep that ball going. They need a 1st down, especially with Stanback coming back in the game. He's got something to prove since that interception he threw in the first half. That's what really gave Fresno State the jump on this game. Without that play by Sanders and that bad throw by Stanback in the first half, I'm not sure Fresno State has a shot to come back and win this game. Now they're in the lead.
And looking at a 3rd and 7 just across midfield. Big play right here. Out of the shotgun. High snap. Pinegar pulls it down. Throws a little swing for Rivera, and that's not going to get much. Rivera knocked out of bounds after a gain of about 2, and the Bulldogs will have to give it up. Little exchange of words at the 40-yard line between Jennings and Sam Cunningham, but doesn't amount to anything. Fresno State will have to punt. We're in the final 20 seconds of the third quarter. Fourth quarter has not started yet. And here's the Fresno State punt. A high, fairly short kick. Frederick, fair catch at the 16-yard line. And there's still 12 seconds left, so Washington will have one snap.
Just like you said earlier, Barry, nobody has taken a hold of this game and grabbed the reins and said it's our game yet.
Stanback back at quarterback for Washington. Given an inside handoff this time to James, and James is stopped by Sanders. And finally, and this time we mean it, it's the end of the third quarter. And a look at the scoreboard still shows the Fresno State Bulldogs 14, the Washington Huskies 10. 15 minutes of football left, and we're coming back. We start the fourth quarter. Barry Tompkins, Petros Papadakis. Husky Stadium here in Seattle. 4-point ball game, and there's a fumble. Ball's loose, picked up by Fresno State, and it's going to be a touchdown for Brian Morris on the first snap of the final period. And again, kind of a rookie mistake.
That's an exchange change problem between the quarterback and the running back. Could have been Stanback, could have been James in that situation.
Gilby can only look on and say, what happened?
Well, it was a fake.
Yeah, it was going to be an option. I think Stanback was going to either keep it or throw it. And he just dropped it. Brian Morris, thank you very much.
It was a fake to that backup fullback, and Morris just gets that thing, and it's a gift, takes it into the end zone, and that's a touchdown.
That's a couple of gifts that the Huskies have given the Fresno State Bulldogs. They've given them 2 scores. And we'll take another break. Just underway in the fourth quarter. 6 seconds gone, and the Bulldogs have stretched the lead to 11. 21-10 Fresno State. Petros Christmas is not for 2.5 months, but a couple of gifts early here for the Bulldogs.
Wow. I mean, usually you expect Fresno State to score touchdowns defensively. You see Sanders bringing it in on that interception. That was a gift, and here's another one. Stanback just drops the ball. Morris is able to pick it up, and he takes it into the end zone untouched. Fresno State's a team that causes this kind of thing to happen. They do wreak havoc on their opposition, but there's no excuse for those plays. Those were both gifts.
So the Bulldogs will kick it off. High end over end kick. Frederick will have a chance at the goal line. Tries to take it to the long side of the field. One man missed him at the 10, trying to get outside, and he cannot get around Paul Williams, who chases him out short of the 20-yard line. Okay, here's Corey Paws throwing, intercepted. Off the hands of the intended receiver and right into the hands of James Sanders. There's another gift.
I don't know how much you can blame Paws for that one. That's just one of those tip balls. Throw it over the middle. Ball gets tipped. Everybody in the stadium that has purple on is cringing.
Here's a look at it. Net.
Oh, it was a high ball for Frederick. Bad ball by Paws.
Well, there's going to be a lot of talk about the Washington quarterback situation here, I'm sure, in the coming week.
They've both done some good things, but both of them very green, very young. Both of them made a lot of rookie mistakes.
There's a give to Wright, and he doesn't get much. Bulldogs with the first down at the 29-yard line. They go out of the I formation. Second down, I beg your pardon, and 9 yards to go. The give again is to Wright. He's got a gap at the 20, the 15, a foot race. He's in. Touchdown, Bulldogs, and they've busted this one open. .28 yards. Well, we kept talking about Dwayne Wright, and this time he showed the goods.
They line up in that 2 tight end set, and Fresno State had to have that kill mentality. Washington is flailing. This game is up for the taking. Lobendon, who's been a star all day, misses the tackle in the hole. Wright takes it to the end zone. Huge play by Fresno State. Now they look like the team we expected to see in the first half. They've taken advantage of the opportunities Washington has afforded them.
Try for point now to make this an 18-point Fresno State lead. It is up and good, and with 13 minutes And 53 seconds remaining to be played in the ball game. Keith Gilbertson may be asking for volunteers. It's the Fresno State Bulldogs 28, the Washington Huskies 10. There's the T-Mobile scoring drive. Wasn't really a drive, it was kind of a sprint. 2 plays, 29 yards, both of them by that guy right there, Dwayne Wright. Here are his numbers: 19 carries, almost 100 yards, just under a 5-yard average.
And I said Wright or Sumlin, one of these running backs for the Bulldogs was going to have a 100-yard game for them to have a chance in the second half. Pat Hill in that locker room at halftime said forget about all of it. He saw his team was being dominated despite the score. He went double tight ends, triple tight ends, ran to the unbalanced side and dominated this game in the second half. Fresno State had some luck as well, though.
Yeah, but a combination of the two, I think. And Fresno State leads it by 18. And look at this kick. And Frederick's going to say, I think we'll take it at the 20. But yet the Huskies are still a pretty big show.
They're the biggest ticket in town, as far as I'm concerned.
There's Casey paused to throw. Throws for Frederick. Throws in full stride this time. And Frederick has the first down at the 38-yard line. Richard Marshall defending. And that's one of the few times that Paz has been able to drop back, be unhindered, and hit a man right in the middle of his route.
Frederick caught him in a little bit of bail coverage there, and they had the perfect route called for it. Just a little out route, 15-yard gain. That's what Frederick can give you. The only thing is he doesn't have Reggie Williams on the other side anymore to draw that bracket coverage. He used to be free roaming out there. Now everybody's got their eyes on Frederick.
First down at the 38. Pause, play fake, he'll go up again, throwing deep, got Frederick out there, Frederick makes the catch at the 23-yard line. Now that was a well-thrown ball by Paz.
It sure was, and Frederick was the second option. I believe the first option was Corey Williams on a comeback route, the same one Frederick just ran. This is a backside post. Frederick beats his man Washington right off the bat, goes up and gets the ball. This is a playmaker. This is a big play guy, and he's got him going right now.
40 yards on that one, and suddenly Charles Frederick 90 yards in pass receptions on 7 catches. This time he comes the long side of the field. He was such a great, not only football player, I'll tell you in a minute here, as James tries the left side, got a nice block, he's at the 5, down to the 4. Talking about Charles Frederick, he was the player of the year in the state of Florida as a high school senior in football. He was also the player of the year in the state of Florida in basketball.
Well, his hair wasn't that long, I guarantee you that. Because you can't have that long a hair and play basketball. The helmet kind of helps keep that big thing down. But in basketball, that'd be flying, whipping people in the eyes. People would be losing eyes out there. It'd be horrible. I don't think his hair was that long.
Maybe not. He played 1 year of basketball here at the University of Washington. Then opted to stay with football.
He must have had a fade back then or something.
I think he had cornrows then, actually. Here's Paz, gets close to the end zone, gets inside the 1-yard line. But the clock is the ally of the Fresno State Bulldogs.
And a lot of those guys with big hair, I remember we talked about Troy Polamalu earlier, Malifo McKenzie, another guy that I played with at USC. They had that big hair. They were all guys that were prone to concussion. And they said, you know, the big hair helps pad my head when I hit people. It's true.
I can see that.
I never tried it.
Third down, goal to go for the Huskies. Try to make this a little more respectable. Paz going to throw. End zone. Knocked away. Batted down that time as he threw into coverage by Todd Garcia. John Lyon, the intended receiver. Now it's 4th down.
And that is the backup tight end, John Lyon. 6'6", 260 pounds. He's a huge target in there. And this ball was on the money. Garcia makes a good play to get there right as the ball got there, but frankly, Lyon should have had that pass. And he's the backup tight end. Joe Toledo, who's the starting tight end, the guy that they're really excited about here, is out with a groin pull. Here they're going for it.
On 4th down may as well. You're down 18. 2 tight ends. They give it to James. He's in. Touchdown Huskies. But it could be a case of too little, too late.
Well, you never know with the way things have gone in this game, especially with the turnovers. But James runs an old goal line play that we used to call George. There's no cutback on that play. If you're going to take it outside, that's where you better stay. And he makes the right cut, takes it outside, rolls into the end zone. Nice run by James on the goal line.
And they will try for 2 to make this a 10-point game. And you're right, stranger things have happened should they convert this 2-point conversion.
I mean, don't make me bring up that Oregon State game out there in Baton Rouge again.
That's right.
I didn't want to talk about that poor kicker.
I felt really sorry for the Beavers in general, for the kicker in particular, and for Mike Riley in particular.
There was a vacuum inside of me when I watched that happen.
Here's pause on the shovel pass, not going to happen. Got it to Anthony Russo, but I think he might have gone to that well one too many times. And it remains a 28-16 ball game. Fresno State leads. Welcome back. 6:53 remaining in the ball game. Fresno State has welcomed a couple of gifts from the Washington Huskies. Huskies bounce back with a score here, but a 12-point game. 6:53 remaining. Fresno State doesn't think the Huskies will go onside here. They only put 6 people up on the, or 5 people up on that front wall, and they kick kind of a line drive sidewinding kick that is going to go into the end zone. I thought it was going out of bounds, but it took a turn. There's a give this time. The Wright tripped up as he crossed the line of scrimmage, and he saw a lot of field turf in front of him. And the rule is, and I will stand corrected here, once the ball crosses the plane of the goal line, it is considered a dead ball. So
there
you are right. The first down line brought to you by Overstock.com, your online outlet. It's all about the O. Second down and 7 now for Fresno State. They will try to use up as much of the play clock as they can. They better hurry and get this off, and they do. They give us the right again, and he stopped as he crosses the 25-yard line. Washington has 2 timeouts remaining. Fresno State doesn't have all 3 of theirs, should they choose to use them. Should Fresno State go on and win this game, Petros, they will have beaten 6 of the last 8 Pac-10 teams they've played. That's impressive.
That's very impressive. And you know what? These guys don't care. Pat Hill has the motto on this team that he uses. Anybody, anywhere, anytime. They want everybody. This is a program that's out for respect, and they gain ground a lot every year. In leaps and bounds, they gain ground. They're going to Kansas State next week. And that's not scared of anybody.
Well, he says, you know, if we're going to be in a bowl bigger than the Silicon Valley Bowl, and he said that with due respects to the Silicon Valley Bowl, he said we got to play these teams. We got to go out there and not only play them, but we got to go to Seattle and win, and we got to go to Manhattan, Kansas and win, and then maybe people will start to take us seriously. Look what they've done with non-conference opponents. Remember 2001, they beat Colorado, they beat Oregon State, and they had Wisconsin by the throat.
And the problem is, in those years, when these teams would win all these games and people would get excited, especially in 2001 about Fresno State, they didn't have the depth to get through a season. A couple of their frontline guys would get hurt, and they'd lose a couple games, usually to Boise State. This year, Fresno State does have the depth. Now, how is this team going to be at Kansas State next week? Who knows? Because these teams like Kansas State and Tennessee, they line up huge athletes and just try to pound out a Fresno State team. I'm not sure you can do that to this team.
No, I'm not either. And I don't think Fresno State is going to be out-quicked by anybody either. Here's the punt, a wobbly, not a very good punt. And that's going to give Washington the ball, actually, in pretty good field position. And stranger things have happened than to come up with a couple of scores in 4 minutes and 26 seconds. Here's pause to pass now. Now he runs out of time and throws it away. Danielle Booker was right in his face.
Washington can come up with something here. If they can come up with a little touchdown pass or some kind of drive, then this might become a game. And remember, Washington's at home here. Fresno State's playing on the road. And Washington has good athletes. They have people that can make plays. You've seen Fredericks.
See the numbers on Corey Paz, now 17 of 34. Playing with a lot more confidence on Casey Paz, I beg your pardon. Corey, his brother, played at UCLA. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Paz rolls right. It's got a man. Throws, and the ball is caught this time by Russo, or rather by Daniels, and out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. It's going to be about 2 yards short of the first down. They'll mark it at the 38.
Washington's not out of this game yet. Casey's bigger than Corey. He's about 6'5", Corey's about 6'2", and Casey's probably got a better arm than Corey. Corey possesses a lot of aspirations to be in the sports media world, like you and I.
Doesn't everybody?
Yeah. Half my job, go back to being a waiter.
You've always got that fallback.
I'm good at that.
Here's a give this time to James. James going to have the first down and get out of bounds. All of a sudden, the Huskies starting to click a little bit.
And a few people have left the stadium. There's a couple empty seats, but you can start to feel the excitement. Now, there's not the earthquake rumble that we saw when the Huskies were introduced in the game, but you can start to feel the murmuring here in the stadium that the Huskies might just have a shot to come back and win this football game. First things first, though, they need to get a couple first downs or a touchdown here on this drive. Otherwise, it's over.
That two-point conversion could begin to loom pretty large.
And a shovel pass, I just didn't like that call. I don't think you did either. 5 times calling that option shovel pass. That's going to the well for too many times.
There's a blitz. They pick it up. Pause throws and he underthrows. And Frederick almost came back and made that catch. Pause was hit right as he threw. That play might have been 6.
A lot of heat up the middle coming to Casey Pause. Frederick stops on a dime, almost makes that play. McIntyre coming up the middle. Fresno State bringing people from the outside, bringing people everywhere. I think they're starting to get a sense of urgency about this drive as well.
Second down and 10. Frederick to the near side, Shackelford in the slot. Pause, straight back, over the middle, too tall for Frederick. And now it's third down.
They're in 4-down territory here, so they're going to have 2 chances to get this first down. You would expect Washington maybe just to try to get a maybe 5 or 6 yard play. Maybe they'll run that shovel pass
there
again,
you go.
or they'll mix in some option or something to get 5 yards. Just get half of it here, because without a first down here, Washington's goose is probably cooked in this ballgame.
So big play right here, 3rd and 10. Frederick comes to the near side. They slot Russo. Daniels to the far side. Pause, straight back. Pressure comes. Flag down. That's going to be a hold. I'm sure that Fresno will decline this penalty. They might get Clay Walker, who was overmatched on that play by that guy right there, who has been a real force.
Holding on the offense, number 63. Penalties declined. Down will be 4.
So one last shot here.
Now check out Clay Walker here. He is going to have his hands all over Danielle Booker, and he just takes him down. Like a soccer slide tackle there. Not going to get away with that.
Well, Booker was going to get the pause, so it's probably not a bad penalty when you really stop to think about it. But the bottom line is, it's 4th and 10. Straight back, Pause. They come off the edge. Pause throws, intercepted. Picked off by Marshall. Marshall down to sideline midfield. He's got Pause to beat, and he beats him easily. And Fresno State is going to have its 3rd defensive touchdown of the game. 75 yards.
Wow.
And they'll get an excessive celebration penalty, which I hate.
You hate the fact that they call the penalty, or you hate the taunting?
I hate the fact they call that penalty. I think you should let kids celebrate. Come on, they're college kids.
You got a 75-yard touchdown return by a sophomore cornerback, Richard Marshall. You can bet he is going to be excited. And what they tell you to do in college football or any football team is when you score a touchdown, celebrate with your teammates.
He just stepped right in front of that one. Yep.
Was intended for Williams. Marshall steps right in front of him, gives a little bit of a dead leg to Casey Pause. Casey Pause, no match for Marshall's speed. Marshall takes it in the end zone. Let's see how hard he clowns here on the old celebration, if he deserved the flag. Well, you can't unbutton the helmet. You can't unbutton the helmet. They get mad about that. And he did the little hip pose, but that wasn't that bad. I've seen worse celebrations that were not flagged.
It wasn't in your face. It wasn't pointed at anybody. I hate it. I hate it.
Well, to be honest with you,
I thought I was going to get my shot. What I with it?
Thank you very much.
to be honest with you, Barry, this is an emotional game. Football is a game that's filled with emotion, and it takes emotion to play modern football. The way it is now and how much the game has changed, these guys only get a certain amount of shot, and this game is played with an incredible amount of emotion, and guys are scared out there, guys are excited out there, guys are angry and violent out there. I mean, there's so much going through a young man's head that when something good happens, like a 75-yard touchdown return, you just can't help but celebrate.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. Try for point up and good. It's a 35-16 lead for the Fresno State Bulldogs. So Bulldogs have really done everything that could be asked of them, and the adjustments that we talked about at halftime were made by Pat Hill. They've dominated the second half pretty much. Sheldon Sampson's going to be the deep man now. They won't put Frederick back there. Not going to risk any injury to their star player. Frederick did have a big game. 9 catches, 114 yards. He couldn't do it by himself.
No, and they really expected a guy like Corey Williams or Quentin Daniels or Sonny Shackelford, Russo, somebody to step up and make some plays. They can't just have one receiver here in Washington.
Very short kick. Russo comes over, handles it at the 19-yard line. Starts back. Gets the 25, upended at about the 32-yard line. New quarterback now for Washington State is Carl Bunnell. And he runs the keeper, and he's going to get a lot out of it down the 45-yard line.
Now, every quarterback we've seen from Washington in this game, all three of them, we've seen Paz, we got Bunnell now, Stanbeck, of course, all of them, first play ran the option. Must have been scripted that way.
True freshman. Bunnell throws and threw behind his intended receiver, Dash Crutchley. Dash Crutchley sounds like the villain in a Boris and Natasha cartoon, doesn't it?
1920s radio drama.
You're going to get that nasty Dash Crutchley.
Nobody's named Dash anymore, you know?
You better be able to run.
Yeah, it doesn't look that spry, to be honest with you. Especially on that play. The ball bounces off the thigh. It's never a good thing.
No, that's not good, no. Bunnell handles a bad snap. Puts his head down, gets it down to the 30-yard line. Well, at garbage time, maybe
seems to be the only guy left playing with a sense of urgency.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, he is in a limited showcase here, is showing pretty well.
And that's a funny thing about college football, especially when you get late in a game like this, and the outcome has been decided. You get guys in that have never played before, or that don't get to play a lot. They got something to prove out there. Their whole family's watching and hold hands in the stand.
Now he's going to throw, rolls away, throws on a run, incomplete, throws too wide, intended for Withorn.
They still have the starting offensive line in there to protect Bunnell. So you know this is somebody who Gilbertson really cares about his future.
True freshman, looking at a 4th down here, and he needs 6. Bunnell unloads it quickly, a little too quickly. Catch is made that time by Shelton Sampson. That's going to do it. Washington, as you see, has won 17 of its last 18 home openers. Not going to be today, though, as Fresno State will let this clock tick down. They'll have to run one play. I'm sure they'll take a knee. Well, he had it going 2-3 years ago, and was ranked, got himself ranked. He was in the top 10, and then Boise State came down to Fresno and whipped up on him. Boise State is really a very good football team in that WAC conference.
They have a very creative spread offensive scheme. Fresno State in that year, 2001, started opening eyes around the country. And in that area in California, from Bakersfield up to Sacramento, These guys run the show. I mean, they don't answer to LA. They don't answer to San Francisco. They are the biggest ticket in that area. They got a lot of pride.
Well, that's what that green V is on the back of their helmets. That's to say we are from the greatest agricultural area in the United States, the San Joaquin Valley, and that's what we play for. We're not about the city of Fresno. We're about the whole San Joaquin Valley. Well, I think the San Joaquin Valley has a lot to be proud of in this team. And you know what? The other thing that strikes me, P, is that I'm not sure we've seen the best of Fresno State yet.
No, certainly not, especially not in that first half. Offensively, this is a team that just did not click today, and usually the defense is faster coming along than the offense in any football team in any given situation, and that was the case today. But Fresno State's defense, we saw how opportunistic we were. We saw that they made good plays. They were very physical, and they wore Washington down.
Well, partner, that first mile's the hardest, and you made it through the first mile. It was great.
It's easy to do with you, Barry. You're a star, man.
That's just about a wrap for us from here at Husky Stadium, and it is a rapidly emptying Husky Stadium where a look at the scoreboard once more shows the Fresno State Bulldogs 35 and the Huskies 16. Next week, Fresno State will move on to Manhattan, Kansas to do battle with the 12th ranked Kansas State Wildcats, and then Wyoming will visit Texas A&M. It all begins at noon Eastern right here on FSN. For Petros Papadakis, I'm Barry Tompkins. So long, everybody.